Hello everyone, welcome to this tutorial for my soft and peaceful arrangement of the worship song As the Deer. Normally in these tutorials I go over any potential trouble spots and offer tips for overcoming them, as well as some insight into my thinking as the arranger and how that might inform your performance of the arrangement. And in this tutorial I actually would like to just camp out on the latter of those two, because I don't think that there's anything particularly troublesome about this arrangement. If you are, say, an intermediate, late intermediate, or advanced pianist, I don't think there's anything particularly challenging. It does on page 3 get pretty big, and you might need to run through that a few times to get it down, wrap your head around it. But I don't think there's any hazards. At least I don't think so. If there are, please let me know, and I can revise this tutorial. There are some tricky fingering spots that I had to work out for myself as I was getting ready to perform it, and I just included those fingerings in here permanently for your benefit. As always, if those fingerings don't work for you and your hands and your technique or whatever, just ignore them and do your own thing. But the primary thing that I want to go over is actually the interpretation of this arrangement and how I think you might perform it most effectively. And it actually gets into my philosophy as an arranger in general, which is rather than just putting a melody to a set of chords and making sure that that happens. So instead of just doing something like I try to, it almost sounds kind of hymn-like, and that's not to criticize hymns. That's just to say that in a hymn book, you have a chord for each note of the melody, and that's because hymn books are designed for singing. Those are the 4 parts for vocalists to sing: soprano, alto, tenor, bass. But when you're performing on an instrument like a piano, to just arrange that way, first of all, is... well, I'll just say it's not very musical. So I try to, whenever I'm arranging, even if it's very simple, I always try to incorporate melodies and counter melodies and inner voicings. And even if I'm just playing chords, I'm trying to voice the chords in such a way that there's something very pleasant and there's something linear to it. So if we just take the first line of this arrangement, you'll notice that in the left hand, you have a walk down and the bass note. So it goes, and I make sure that the chord voicings above it are really pleasant and make that movement work. That's kind of a counter melody to the main melody. Even in the right hand, you have this movement from a D up to an E, which is really pleasant. And then in addition to that, you get like these moments where there's spaces in the melody, where the melody of the song has a hold over 4 beats or something, like at the end of the first line, as the deer panteth for the water, so my soul longeth after thee, 2, 3, 4. And rather than just, say, holding it for 4 beats and then going back in, or doing what I think a lot of us might do just if we're improvising or leading a congregational singing or something, we'll just like noodle around the chord. It's a D chord, so we just might go, longest after thee, something like that, just to fill the space. Instead, when I'm making these arrangements, these more established formal arrangements, I try to fill those spaces with something really meaningful and purposeful and beautiful. So here you have, and that's a kind of counter melody that's filling that space. It's kind of a lead line that is really pleasant and provides all the information that's needed to know how long to hold that note, and then you go into the next line. And so I even signify that little counter melody with a slur here, which is to say, this is a little musical statement, and as you perform it, play it like a musical statement. So you'll give it its own kind of ebb and flow. You'll give it its own maybe speed up, slow down, its own like get louder, get softer. Even at the end of the second line here, we have a suspension. In the left hand there, that's a little melody. Rather than just having a bland arpeggio, I thought about a little melodic way of resolving that suspension. And then the right hand has a lead in to the downbeat of the refrain. I even put a crescendo here to indicate that lead line can be like a ramp, because I think we naturally feel, it's one of the reasons why this song is so beautiful and so compelling, is that melody in the chorus being on the minor 6 chord. It's just so beautiful. It like aches. It's like an aching sound. It's like, if you know the song Wonderful Merciful Savior, you are the one that we praise. It's that landing on the minor 6th for the refrain. It's just so beautiful. So to have a little ramp up in the melody just gets you... I messed it up, but you get the idea. So take advantage of it. Let it start soft and get you up to a higher dynamic. So there's little moments like that. Oh, and another one here at the bottom line, measure 13. It's the my spirit. It's a natural spot where, in the melody, the way that Martin Nystrom wrote this, it's a natural spot of like easing tension and kind of resolving the climactic feel of the refrain. And I try to accentuate that with that walk down. So milk it, take advantage of it. Again, I separate it I don't separate it. I mark it out with slurs to say, hey, this is its own thing. And as the pianist, you can take advantage of it. You can enjoy it for what it is. You can play it right in time. That's totally fine. Or you can milk it. So what I'm getting at in all of this is that you should always, when you're performing, and I'm sure you know this, make the melody super clear. Bring out the melody you might see in my sheet music from time to time. Let the melody sit over the top of the chords very loudly and clearly. But take advantage of the counter melodies and the inner voices that move and the way that I voice the chords and things like that. Take advantage of those. Milk them for what they are. But don't let the melody itself get lost either. It's the main melody of the song that is the point of the song. And so it's kind of a both and. Enjoy the musical moments. Make sure the melody doesn't get lost. I think the best way to do that, honestly, is just sing it in your head while you play it. I mean, I can't demonstrate how to sing in your head for you, but in my head, as I'm performing this, I'm literally singing it. I'm thinking, the deer panteth for the water, so my soul longeth after thee. I think if you're singing it in your head and then that spirit is coming out in your fingers, you'll have no problem attaining that kind of musicality. So yeah, I mean, as the pianist, you have the freedom to make it ebb and flow the way that you feel is most appropriate in the moment, and that matches your own spirit as you're performing it. And then one last thing, I will draw your attention to the ad lib at the very end. And if you're not familiar with that direction, it's kind of vague. It's intentionally vague. That last arpeggio to finish out the song is totally up to you. I think the way I performed it, it kind of starts slow, speeds up, and then ends slow, like a... You could do it that way. You could keep it pretty steady and slow. You could do it really fast. I'm sorry, I'm not playing it very well. You get the idea. It's the freedom to play that last arpeggio how you see fit. So if that was confusing to you, that's what that means. All right, I hope that was helpful to you. Hope I didn't blabber on too long. I really enjoy talking about this kind of stuff. It's really easy for, I think, for us musicians and pianists. We play so many of these songs so often, and we play some of these songs so many times over the course of our lives. And as an arranger, I do the same thing with arranging them, and it's easy for it to become mechanical and rote and everything. And so really, to me, the most interesting thing about all of this and what I enjoy most about music is the musicalness. And when we, as musicians, really own that and try to maximize the musicality of the music we're playing, that's when it really just takes on a life of its own and makes it worth listening to and enjoyable, makes it worth playing, and brings so much more life to it. And so in this arrangement in particular, I just felt there's so much room for that. There's also a temptation to just play it as written, like a robot, like your computer would. And nothing would be worse than that. So anyway, hope that's helpful. I will see you in the next tutorial.